What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Behind the Glass Sports Podcast. We thank you guys for tuning in on this lovely Friday morning, afternoon, or night, whenever I guess you're listening to it. You know, every time I say that, I'm like, people probably aren't listening to this all at the same time in the morning, so I should probably just say on Fridays. But it's in the morning. I can't think that far, and that's true too. Thank you for tuning in on whatever day you're listening or watching the stream. I apologize. Shout out to, I think we have a new listener in Australia. I think that's the new country that's on there. And also, major shout out to you guys. We have broken the 500 listen mark. And for us, like, we're not like super tracking listens and everything like that. I just thought that was cool. 500 plays. We appreciate you guys for doing that. The other night I looked at it, it was at like 470 something, and it jumped the next morning to like 530 something. I was like, oh my gosh, all right, I'll take that. So shout out to you guys. We appreciate you guys for listening. Hopefully you like what you're watching and what you're listening to. I guess you wouldn't come back so much if you didn't. But we appreciate you guys just hanging out with us each and every Monday and Friday, or whatever day that you listen to. Huge weekend this weekend for the Denver Broncos as they could get back to 500. We will talk about that. They play the Atlanta Falcons. If the Atlanta Falcons have a lead, then I will surely feel confident in that one. Also, the NBA is coming back. We have a date. Jokic season is just about a month out. I'm excited. I'm ready to get my heart broken again. I'm ready to have my blood pressure and heart rate reach unattainable and unhealthy levels. So that's going to be good. We'll talk about that. We'll make our NFL picks. And the streak continues for Brandon not sending in his Thursday night pick. So easy W's. I will take it. Here. 13 games up, baby. And we're one step closer to 20.
I am currently making my picks for the rest of the year on Thursday night games. No joke. I am picking all the Thursday night games right now. That's what I'm going with.
Last night I was like, he's definitely not gonna forget. Like, he's gonna send me it. And I was doing laundry last night, and I checked my phone at like 5:30. I didn't have anything. I came back down at like 6, and I had a text, and I was like, he remembered, and it wasn't you. And I was like, he didn't remember. I was so happy. And then once the game started, I was like, yes. Easy win too. I mean, Green Bay completely blew them off the map. I mean, San Francisco didn't have anybody. I mean, they're down to like fifth string players at this point. So, but it was competitive for like a quarter. But other than that,
was it?
It was. Like half of the first quarter. I mean, it was like, what, 10-3 at one point, something like that. It was close-ish. I mean, the 49ers were stopping them. They forced them in a couple 3-and-outs, and then, they threw a pick, and it just kind of snowballed from there. It was like a Broncos game. One bad thing happens, and it's just an avalanche effect. But we thank you guys for tuning in. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the Broncos game? You want to start with the NBA coming back?
You can start with whatever you're doing because I am currently picking all my Thursday games. I am literally picking everything right now.
Let's start with the NBA. We'll knock that out real quick. If you guys didn't see it, Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN insider for the NBA, put out last night in the wee hours of the night that the NBA and NBAPA have agreed on a date. Now, it was kind of going back and forth as to whether it's going to be December 22nd or, some of the players were like, no, that's too early. We want January 18th. And so I guess the stipulation was, okay, if we start in January, it's going to be like a 65-game season, less money for you, stuff like that. Whereas if we start in December, I think it was like a 72-game season, which is what they're going to play now. And obviously they don't lose as much money. The players don't. And it kind of gets them back on track with the normal schedule. Not completely. I think the finals will still end just after August. So usually the finals would end, or sometime in August. Usually the finals on a regular schedule would end, mid-June-ish. So they'll be somewhat on track. Not completely, but at least a little bit better. So, I mean, that'll be cool. You go from finals into preseason football. So, boom. I mean, smart for the NBA right there. They're going to capitalize on that whole little stretch right there. When the NFL is just starting to wind down, we'll be at the very tail end of the regular season going into playoffs. And that'll when the beginning of the NBA season starts, no one's really going to care at that point unless you're like a diehard fan, which we'll watch. I will watch painfully. I don't think there was enough time for Nikola to get fat again. So that makes me happy.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean it's the great winter. He piles on for hibernation. So I don't know if he's able to pile on that much, but we'll see. I'm excited, man. I mean, December 22nd, 72 game season. They're gonna talk about moving up the free agency, start of free agency, possibly maybe before the draft. I saw there's some talks about that. Typically, it's after the draft, I believe, right? Because
Yep.
the draft is like 2 weeks after the finals ends, usually. So I think they're gonna do that. But either way, I mean, we're gonna have free agency like within the next couple weeks. The draft is just under 2 weeks away. It's on my birthday on the 18th, so I'm super excited for that. And then we'll have free agency, and then December 1st is when teams will kick off training camp. So I mean, listen, Nuggets basketball is right around the corner, guys. So we're gonna get right back into this thing. We're gonna get a lot of answers very quickly in terms of free agency. What are the Nuggets going to do? What are they going to do with the 22nd pick in the draft? Are they going to trade that? Or are they going to use that on a guy? We'll see. And obviously, the offseason rumors are just starting to get going. I've seen a lot of Drew Holiday stuff. The Pelicans are officially
I saw one. I for Drew Holiday, I am not giving up Bol. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Really?
I'm not.
I would.
Not for Drew Holiday. Not for Drew Holiday.
I would.
If they trade if they trade, say, Gary and Bol and a first, that is way too much. That I saw. I think that's what I saw. That's way too much.
Well, here's the thing though, because if you're throwing in Gary, you kind of have to entice a team to take Gary on because of his production. Now, a first may not be too much, but here's where it's beneficial for the Nuggets. Drew Holiday's going into the last year of his deal. So essentially, you're just getting a 1-year rental.
Right. So why are you giving up Bol?
Well, I mean, is a first in Gary going to
and is Drew Holiday? Look, I like Drew Holiday. But does Drew Holiday put you over the top? No, absolutely
that's
not.
what I was talking about with a lot of coworkers yesterday. I was like, that's essentially what I said to them. I was like, I don't know if Drew Holiday puts them over the top. It depends on what the Lakers do, what the Clippers do.
You know what can put you over the top is having a lineup with Jamal Murray, MPJ, Bol, and Nikola Jokic. That can put you over the top. But you got to be patient. And that's one thing that I think we've been worried about with the Nuggets is. Are they being too patient? Have they been too patient? And at this point, I think after seeing what Bol did, I just don't know how you can just ship them off for a 1-year rental.
Well, it's about what they want to do.
Unless it's for someone like Chris Paul or money-wise, I don't know if that's going to work. A Bradley Beal, which unfortunately would take like an MPJ.
Yeah, that's just not gonna
and I wouldn't do that either. So I don't know. I did see one where, because Devin Booker, there's reports that he wants out of Phoenix.
I don't blame him.
I would give up MPJ and Bol for Devin Booker.
Ooh.
I'd give up both of them and a couple of firsts for Devin Booker.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Devin Booker is the only player that's available right now that I would give up both MPJ and Bol and a first. And just go all in. If you want to go all in and go over the top, that's who you go and get.
I'm going to have to message our guy Jake that we had on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I just don't think that's realistic. I don't think Phoenix would give up Devin Booker because I think he's on a big contract. Still, I think he has a few years left, like 3 or 4. So I don't know.
Has he signed a new deal yet?
I thought he did. I thought that was like 2 years ago where he signed a 5-year deal. I could be wrong though. He's been in the league for a long time.
Oh yeah, he has signed a 5-year deal. So he's not a free agent until 24.
Right, exactly. So that's why I would give up. I would give up. I mean, I would give Phoenix almost everything. The only guys I wouldn't give them would be Jamal and Jokic. I mean, if you could pull something off to where you send quite a bit over to Phoenix and you can get Devin Booker, I will roll with that big 3. That is fine with me. You can put scraps around him. I don't care, but that three works.
Yeah, well, I mean, you would have to,
Yeah,
because he's making 29 this year. He'll make 31, 33, and
it's
then
actually not
36.
that much. That's
No, I
actually
mean
not
he's
that
he's
much.
not making max
No.
money, but I mean that's probably what you would end up
Well,
paying.
here's the thing:
You know,
$30 million. That's
grand.
take 14 from Gary, take what 12 from Will, and you lose Plumlee. That's about 30 right there. I
I'm
mean,
gonna message our guy Jake
money
about that.
wise, it's not a
I'm gonna
big
throw
deal.
that at him.
Yeah, money
Yeah, I'm gonna-
wise, that doesn't hurt Denver at all. Actually, it would just take a lot to get him. And if you're Phoenix, would you take MPJ, Bol, and Will and Gary?
I would.
Take all
I would.
four with a couple first.
Yeah, because you get. Listen, Devin Booker's a great talent. Like he's a top 15 player probably right now.
Yeah.
But with that, like that legitimately puts you into like 6 to 8 seed contention right there. At least I would think.
Yeah, if you're
Because you'll
Phoenix, yeah.
have DeAndre Ayton,
hmm
you'll have, say it's Will Barton and MPJ. I mean, whoa. Like you're
Yeah.
getting some big scoring punch, and then Bol. Like you're getting two guys in Bol and MPJ that you could possibly add to a DeAndre Ayton and build your franchise
Right.
around.
Right.
So
And then for Denver, it's up to you. How do you build around the big three?
well, I mean,
And-
it's
and-
top heavy at
and-
that point. So it's-
Right, but I mean, you just got to find a way to build around them, and that's a hell of a big three because I think all three would be under the age of 26.
It is, but defensively, they're not stopping anybody.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is you're gonna have to go out and get just defensive guys, 3-and-D guys, Jay Crowder, Marcus.
You wouldn't be able to afford him for that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Just guys like that. You're gonna have to find that just 3-and-D guys that fit with Malone, and then you got to hope that Booker fits in with Jokic and Jamal, because we saw when MPJ was out there a lot with them that it almost seemed to like they would kind of ignore MPJ. So the thing with Jamal and Jokic, their chemistry is so good that fitting in a third guy is concerning because it's almost
especially
like
a guy who needs the ball
right.
to be. But I mean, if you ask Devin Booker, hey, would you want to play with Jokic and Jamal Murray? Like, who do you leave at that point? You're not leaving anybody. You can't double. I mean, you could try. And
Well,
double
you
if
can
want
leave.
to,
You
but
just got to leave the other two, whatever two that's out there.
that is just,
Essentially, you are the Lakers, right? Where you can leave really anyone other than LeBron and AD, and it's really gonna be on those on the stars to win the game. Now, do you trust Jamal, Booker, and Jokic to win a game against, say, LeBron and AD and Chris Paul? If that happens,
no.
so that's
A game, sure. A series, no, I don't.
so that's where if LA were to get Chris Paul, I don't know how likely that is. Say, let's say the Lakers are the same. I don't think they'll be the same, but let's say with the weird offseason, they stay the same for whatever reason. Do you trust Jamal, Booker, and Jokic to beat LeBron and AD?
No, not in a series, no.
So, I mean, but again, then you have three guys at 20 under 26 for the next 3 years.
No.
Or four seasons, right? Would it be?
Jokic is 20. He'll be up in 23, I think. And
I mean,
think
you'll
Jamal
re-sign
24.
Jokic. So, okay, so then you have them for the next at least 3 seasons.
Mhm.
Can they do something by the end of 3 seasons?
Oh, sure. The reason I don't think they get past the Lakers is because the Lakers are just uniquely built.
Mhm.
They're if they come back relatively the same, I mean, they're a team defensively. They can lock you down at any moment, and they just have the height that bothers you. And even if you have that scoring punch, like they're so good defensively that they can clamp down. But that's not to say that the Nuggets couldn't. I would hope if you had Jokic, Jamal, and Devin Booker, like that might be the second best. If those two were to play together, the second best backcourt in the NBA. I think that would surpass CJ and Damian. that might be a notch
Yeah,
below. That might be like
I'd
one
agree.
B to Steph
Well,
and Clay.
and think about the you it would be nearly impossible to close against the Nuggets. If it's a close game, you will not be able to beat them. Jokic is clutch. We've seen Jamal be clutch, and Devin Booker is one of the clutchest guys in the league. So I don't
Those are
know
all guys that can
how.
go for 25 at a given night.
If the game is within 5, I do not know how another team beats you unless you have another 2 or 3 guys that are like that. Like you need KD and Kyrie to be going nuts, right? To be able to close out those 3. You need LeBron and AD to be hitting their shots, outside shots, to close out against those 3. You need Kawhi to, well, do something against those 3 in order to close out. Yeah, I mean, you need a lot to close out those guys. Now, again, they're young, but Jamal and Jokic have the experience of veterans at this point, with how many Game 7s that they've played in, with how many series that they've played in. So then Devin Booker, I'm not really worried about him, the way he played in the bubble. I'm not really worried about him shrinking in big moments.
No, I mean that's a bona fide star right there.
Yeah. So
Like
but like I said, that is the only deal that I go all in for. Other than that, I would give up Bol for, and like Will and Gary and whoever for like a Chris Paul. Other than that, I don't really Drew Holiday. I'm not giving up Bol for. I can't do that because his potential is so high compared to what Drew Holiday can give you this year on a 1-year rental. It's just it's not worth it.
well, it's all going to come down to what the Nuggets want to do, though. Like, do they want to maximize the championship window right now? They were in the Western Conference Finals.
But is it really your
series.
window though? Because LeBron is still in his prime for somehow he is still in his prime and he keeps on proving it. Anytime someone says he's out of it, he's done, he's right there winning the championship again. And he has Anthony Davis alongside of him, and they can go out and get a third piece, by the way, because remember, they could have gotten Kawhi. So they have money to go out and get a third guy. They have the ability to do that.
Yeah,
and then
be a trade.
And then the Clippers, we'll see what they do, but they're going to be right there. Golden State, what if they go out and get, a third guy to pair with Steph and Clay? So is your window really open right now?
Well, I think anytime you make a conference finals, you have a chance. Now, is their window large? Probably not.
But at this point, I would say they're the 4th best team in the West.
Sure, you can make that argument, and you probably are right. Like if I'm choosing today, if the Lakers come back, even if they change things, I would probably choose the Lakers.
The Lakers and the Clippers are going to get better.
It might be a toss-up, so I would put them around 3 or 4, yeah. But here's the thing, though. I think anytime you make a conference finals, your window is at least cracked open. Now, is it completely wide open? Maybe not. But you're asking a team in the Nuggets who have been patient and waiting for, 4 or 5 years now to wait even longer, to wait at a certain point. Like, you can't keep waiting. You have to, at some point, go for it. Now, I'm not saying, whether it's right or wrong to do that this year. If it was me, I'd probably wait it out because I don't think Drew Holiday puts you over the top of the Lakers in particular. Now, I think it would make things very interesting against Golden State because you get an upgraded version of Gary Harris, essentially. You get a guy who can score and defend on the perimeter. Pair that with a guy like Jeremy Grant, it's a really nice defensive pairing that you have in that starting lineup. So I think that would be an interesting one there. I think he would also help versus Dallas. A guy who can defend and score. So I don't think it puts him over the top. I'm with you there. I don't think Chris Paul puts him over the top. I think that's probably, as nice as that would sound, I don't think that's a deal I want to mortgage my future and the potential of some of these guys that we have for that. I don't think I want to do that. And now a lot of Nuggets fans are not going to be happy with that. But I think if you kind of wait it out a little bit, if you wait out LeBron maybe another year or two, we know we can beat the Clippers. Now, granted, we had to come back, but we know we can beat them. We know we can hang with them, even though they're kicking our faces.
Yeah, but say they
in
trade Paul George for someone. I don't know.
Who are they going to trade though? Because Paul George's value has dropped immensely. Paul George is.
What
not
if they find a
valuable
way to
anymore.
get James Harden?
I don't think they would do that. Well, that would be a disaster.
Would it?
James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. on the same
All of
team?
the actually, I think that fits. I think that works.
I don't think so.
All of the trade rumors with James Harden is interesting.
Yeah,
It's him. If you were to pair him up with Embiid, I actually like that too.
I think that would be.
I
better.
think
just
I think
don't
Houston
like-
has paired him up with just guys who don't necessarily like every time they like when they paired him up with Chris Paul, there was questions like, would that really work? And it worked, but it didn't. Like if Chris Paul was healthy in that Golden State series, maybe, but still, I don't know if you can really say that they could have beat Cleveland with LeBron and Kyrie that year, right? So I don't like. I mean that just to they've tried to pair him up with point guards, and it doesn't really make sense to do that because he is essentially a point guard.
Yeah.
So if you pair him up with another wing, especially a guy like Kawhi who can defend, who is willing to give up the scoring load, and just be that stable second guy like Kawhi is. Because
I don't think Kawhi thinks he's the second guy though, and that's why I
Well,
don't
but-
think it would work necessarily because of I don't think it wouldn't work because of talent. I think they would win a lot of games. I just think leadership and cohesiveness. We know Kawhi's now at this point. We know Kawhi's not the best leader. His teammates have come out and there's been rumblings that he's not the best leader. He's obviously not a very vocal guy. He doesn't bond with his teammates. I mean, a lot of his teammates like Montrez, Lou, Pat Bev were angry at the fact that he was able to just sit out games. He was late for flights to games. I mean, I just don't know how that dynamic would work outside of the court, as bonding and chemistry and leadership. Is James Harden the best leader? I don't know. So I mean, they would win games for sure. I mean, they'd probably be a 1 or a 2 seed, but I don't know. We've seen that chemistry and that type of bond and leadership that matters. That really does matter when it comes to the playoffs. I don't know, but the Embiid and Harden one, that's an interesting one. I think
I love that.
it would really suck because Houston would probably get stuck with Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook, the two guards who just absolutely can't shoot, and that would be
they would.
awful.
I think they're gonna move off Russ. Well, I
Man,
don't know
Russell
who
is
would.
really just
I don't know
taking
who would take
spots.
him, but
Yeah, oh man, that sucks because you know what? Russ was always a really good mid-range shooter. I mean, his vintage shot would come down. Obviously, besides the dunks,
up to the
it's
free
him
throw
coming
line.
down,
Yeah.
free throw line, and popping it in your face. Those early Russell years against the Nuggets in the playoffs, he was just so lethal at the free throw line, and then all of a sudden he just can't shoot. You actually just want him to shoot, and I don't think it's a situation where he's just relied on his athleticism his whole career. I don't know. It's just a weird situation where he just can't shoot the ball. And yeah, it's not like he has a weird looking shot. His shot is actually nice. It's good form, but for whatever reason it just doesn't go in. And yeah, that if you're Houston, I think if you're Houston, you have to be kind of considering, do we start this over and
Oh yeah.
blow this up? Because I mean, they've fallen short so many times and they've been so close a lot of times too. But I mean, James Harden, I think, is going to be 31 or 32. And, now there's rumors of him being traded. If you could get a haul for James Harden right now,
You have to do it.
wouldn't you want to do that?
You
Because
have to
what
do
is your chances of actually winning a championship at this point?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be a fun offseason, though. I'm excited. It's going to be jam-packed. You're going to have the draft, boom,
Yeah.
free agency,
It might
boom,
be the
and then season.
craziest 2 weeks of NBA offseason ever.
Oh, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. And
Unfortunately,
NBA
the free agent
bet.
class isn't that good this year. If it was the 2021, could you imagine if it was next offseason and it was in this situation where it's all within 2 weeks? Giannis is a free agent. LeBron's a
Kawhi can
free
opt
agent.
out.
Well, AD is technically a free agent this year, but he's gonna come in. But yeah, Kawhi could opt out. Paul George can opt out. Like it would be Bradley. I believe no, Bradley Beal's the next year, right? Or no, the couple years after that.
Signed the
Yeah, he
extension,
signed an
yeah.
extension.
So,
But yeah, it would have been crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be fun to see. I think the trades though this offseason is gonna be interesting. I don't know because of how short it is. I don't know if trades actually happen though.
yeah, and that's what I'm wondering too. Is with such a shortened off season, are teams willing to kind of mortgage things and shift things around given how short things are? I
Right.
don't. It actually might be a really underwhelming off season, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Well, think about it. If you're Denver, you beat the Clippers because they had no chemistry at all, right?
Yeah, and you see that with all those reports coming out,
Right.
no one on that
Do
team
you want to
cares.
risk your chemistry when you know the Lakers have all the chemistry in the world right now? Do you want to risk your chemistry to go out and get someone, and also risking you only got what? I mean, really 8 true games to look at Bol? Do you trade Bol after only seeing him for 8 games and barely in the rotation?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what you can get for him. If a team's gonna overvalue him and give you a good haul, then yeah, I would consider it definitely. But if it's a situation where you don't think you could get, essentially you're trying to steal something for him because he hasn't
Right.
proven anything. But if there's a team that's willing to overvalue
Like
him,
Devin
the
Booker.
Pelicans, yeah, or Phoenix, then yeah, then of course you jump on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just think the more we talk about it, like I was on the fence about going Drew Holiday anyway and making moves, but given how short the offseason is, I just think it's probably best just get Jeremy Grant locked up,
Mhm.
and then you know what, we'll ride from here.
Well, and here's the thing: by the trade deadline, Drew Holiday might be available. That situation in Phoenix might be even worse with Devin Booker. At that point, make the move at the trade deadline. But right now, with the weird offseason, shortened offseason, you're not going to have a lot of training camp time. I don't know if they're going to even have preseason games. I don't know if they announced
maybe
that.
a couple, maybe. I
So
don't know.
at that point, I think it would be a huge advantage for you to bring back everyone, because then if you start off hot, LeBron and AD, they're going to take a lot of rest. At least LeBron will that first month or two.
LeBron's already said
LeBron's already said it.
in the whole season.
Right. So you have a shot at starting off really hot and getting the 1 seed. And by, when the playoffs start, if things are normal or at least getting there and you have home court advantage over the whole course of the playoffs, that's huge. So if I'm the Nuggets, I either go all in for Devin Booker if you can get him. If not, you keep everything the same. You try and take advantage of your chemistry. You try and take advantage of the Lakers just chilling for the first month or two, and the Clippers and Golden State trying to figure things out. You get the one. You try your best to get the 1 seed, and you roll with that. But
Yeah.
that's I think best case scenario for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Either of those two.
Side note, as an NBA fan, like I'm just really happy that Golden State is back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Even though I'm probably gonna
People
hate them when they play them.
people forgot how good Steph was.
Right. Well, and
like-
Clay too.
and-
I mean,
well, and
Clay's,
Clay, yeah.
Clay's really good.
Well, and by the way, we
Draymond,
get
triple
KD and
steal.
Kyrie back.
Yeah, KD, Kyrie. Like I'm
Yeah.
really like as an NBA fan, I'm really excited for a lot of these guys to get back that didn't have a chance to like say, hey, like I'm still here too. Like all those people, like if you're Kevin Durant and you're hearing all this about Kawhi's the new guy, he's overtaken LeBron, and that already means that he's overstepped you as well.
hmm
So if you're Kevin, you're like, whoa, like wait a minute, I'm still here too. So I'm excited to see him. Steph is just, all the people saying, oh, Damian Lillard, the deep ball. Like Steph's like, oh, wait, I did this.
I remember listening to someone and he's like, yeah, Dame has he has the most range in the league. I'm like,
Was it Kenny Smith that said that? Why
it
do I
might have
think
been
was
it might have been
Smith?
Kenny Smith, and I'm like, Dude, you totally forgot about Steph.
Do you forget who made this a thing?
Do you
Steph was
remember?
shooting half courts?
Do you remember the game winner that Steph hit at half court, and it was like
versus OKC? Yes.
Yeah, versus OKC, and it was like nothing.
Yes.
I mean, that was like
he pulled up literally from the logo, like at the tip of the logo.
By the way, he had time to get to the 3-point line. He pulled up early.
Like he's the first guy I've ever seen willingly pass up a layup on a fast break to shoot a 3.
Yeah.
And
now the whole league does it. But
Yes.
but he created it.
He transcended the game. He changed the NBA and how it's played.
And by the way,
And-
shooters do not he will not regress like a Russell Westbrook. He's not
No.
going to regress like that. He is going to be the way Steph plays, his prime is extended.
Yeah. Well, his loss of step will be him going from being just a crazy shooter from anywhere just to be a spot up guy. 'Cause
Yeah, but that's going
I
to take
think-
a long time though. I
Yeah.
don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
I think Steph's best skill is his off-ball work.
Yeah.
I think off-ball he is just amazing.
He's
It's
going to
so
turn
hard to stay up with him.
he's going to turn into what Ray Allen was for Miami, but he'll be that on steroids. Like that's what Steph will be when he's 38, 39.
I'm excited to see Steph again
Yeah.
until he plays the Nuggets and drops
Right.
and then we'll be like, okay, well you can go back now. Are we sure that finger's really healed? Let's just sit out.
Or if Denver has to play them in the playoffs and Klay Thompson has a 40-point game 6 to knock the Nuggets out, because you know for whatever reason game 6 with Klay, he goes off. Go back and look. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, people just like forget how good Klay is. Like Klay is like some scrub. Like Klay is a great player.
Yeah.
Now, he's
And
not Steph
Draymond,
Curry,
when those two are healthy, Draymond's a great player.
yeah, triple single, yeah. Draymond, he's gonna get into the Hall of Fame. Off
Hey,
the triple
they
single.
need him. They need him.
Draymond's a Hall of Fame energy guy. No, I shouldn't disrespect. He was a great defensive player. I don't know if he's what he used to be, but
I don't know.
it's gonna be fun to have them back. But the NBA coming back soon, about a month, a little over a month and a half away, I want to say. So we're super excited for that. Broncos game
Oh, boy.
taking on the Atlanta Falcons.
that really just ruined
okay.
the mood. Thanks for
U-turn.
that.
Hey, listen, they could get to 500.
We're all happy. The NBA's back, and then all of a sudden you transition into that, and now I'm depressed.
Hey, they could get to 500 this week. They could get 4
Oh,
wins. They could
congrats.
surpass
Congrats!
my total that I predicted.
Woohoo! You're still the
Philip Lindsay?
worst team in your division.
Well, yes, they are. Well, I mean, they beat the Chargers, so technically not. So, I mean, technically they're not the worst team in the division. Did you see the stat about Philip Lindsay? Because I just love to gush about Philip Lindsay. Did you
God.
see this stat?
Wait, well, real quick, did you see who was it that caught up to Philip Lindsay? Is not a breakaway guy. He really like he
Come on.
got
Why do you have to do
got
this
it.
every
But
week?
but did you see whoever that was caught up to him like it was nothing?
Who? The cornerback?
I don't know. Whoever that was like right
I'm the one on
behind
the
him.
turf toe. I mean, he's still working through some toe stuff. I mean, listen, Phil's explosive. Why do you always have to knock him?
He's
Can you just be
no,
happy for
he's
him for
explosive. He's explosive at the line, but he's not a breakaway guy.
I mean, he's not like a 4-2.
Like
40
when I was
guy.
watching that, I was like, "Oh my god, he is slow."
No, he's not slow. Melvin Gordon's slow.
Neither of them are breakaway guys. Neither of them
Phil's a
can.
breakaway guy. What do you- all of his highlight touchdowns, he's breaking away from guys.
He's
Anyways,
he's a
how
breakaway
do
guy
you-
at the line of scrimmage, but you can catch him easily.
How do you know that corner is not like a 4-2 40 guy or a 4-3 40 guy?
I don't think so. That was actually a bigger guy too. I guess Philip Lindsay's tiny, but
You're making it out to be like he was a linebacker that caught him. It was definitely a DB of some sort. Anyways, Phil
shouldn't
hater.
be faster than Phil.
Gosh, there's only one player since the merger to have 450 career rushes and zero fumbles. Philip Lindsay. Out of the whole merger, 450 carries. And then the ironic
it's
part
that glue
is you
that he
have
puts on his hand so
Oh,
he
okay.
doesn't drop it.
yeah. Well, the ironic part about this is you have a guy who never fumbles and you have a guy who always fumbles.
Right.
So they're in the same backfield. It's a tandem. It's yin and yang. You know, Phil's like, I'm gonna hold on to it. It's like you tuck that thing in a brick wall. No one can get it. and then you go to Melvin, and Melvin will just toss it like
You know, you
like
just
an
jinxed
egg.
you just jinxed Philip, right?
Oh, I think the stat just jinxed him. But listen, I mean, if he fumbles once, like we have history here that says he doesn't fumble.
what if
Like
he
I think the last time he fumbled was
what
like
if
his
he
like junior
what
year
if he
of CU.
fumbled twice in this weekend against Atlanta?
Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why can't you just let me live? Okay? Golly, man. Unbelievable. Broncos at Falcons this week. It's in Atlanta. That obviously doesn't mean much. I was doing some research.
They're
last
0
night
4
for,
at home.
Yeah. The Atlanta Falcons, they have actually a really good offense. Their defense is not
Yes,
very good.
yeah, no doubt they have a
Um,
good offense. Their rush
they
defense is actually top
they're
10 as well. Oh
They're
yeah,
ninth
they're
in
ninth.
rushing, 32nd in total defense, and 31st in pass defense.
Yeah.
So, yeesh. First off, I don't know where they're at in scoring defense. I'm sure they're probably middle of the pack or lower. But their rushing defense is good. However, offensively, they're middle of the pack rushing, but they're second in total offense and they're second in pass yards. So, and they're ahead of the Chiefs.
This is the most difficult game of the weekend to pick, and Atlanta is favored at -4.
I can see that.
If I were making that line, I'd put it at 0. This is
Well, I
like
mean, essentially, we know that they're only getting those points because they're at home.
well, usually you only get 2 or 3 if you're the home team, so
Right.
they're getting 1 or 2.
Extra, but if it was in Denver, it'd probably be maybe them by 1, or maybe a coin flip. Maybe Denver's favored by 1.
Does
Who knows?
does Atlanta get their first win at home?
Well, it's definitely possible. We know that a lot of games are winnable with the Broncos, and a lot of games are very losable. So you never know what team you're going to get on a given week. Early feelings on this game, though. Last week I was leaning Broncos with the Chargers, but I ended up picking the Chargers, and the Broncos won. So it's kind of like with the Jets. I was going to pick the Broncos, but I ended up picking the Jets.
Yeah,
The
I had a
Broncos won.
feeling the Broncos were gonna win. I just could not pick them. Like last Friday, it was like I was this close from picking Denver, and then I looked at that score, the Kansas City game, and I couldn't do it. Like, I
can't
couldn't
trust
do
them.
it.
They're not a football team.
I
By the way,
don't know.
can we just, before we dive into this game a little bit, the booing, the whole
Oh my god.
players and the portions of Broncos fans, you know who you are, getting mad at the fans booing. Why? They're paying to be there, okay? They have a right to express how they are feeling, whether it's cheering. If a guy wants to cheer by dumping soda on his head, would I do that? No. Would I boo? No. But you pay to be there, so you can celebrate or express frustration however you want to. Now you got players saying, like Shelby Harris saying, "Oh, we're the real Broncos fans. I was mad that you guys were booing us." Well, Shelby, at the point that they were booing you, it was halftime, and you had under 100 yards of total offense, and you were getting kicked in the face by a division rival and another team that was 2-4 at that. So, I would say that's fairly warranted. And for all these people like, "Oh, you didn't believe," were we supposed to just expect the Broncos to make a 21-point comeback and win that game, or to tie the game and then ultimately win the game? Like, this whole booing thing and being upset, like if you boo, you're not a real fan and you need to have some more class and dignity. No, these guys know what they sign up for, and Vic Fangio said as much yesterday. He was like, "I grew up in Philly. Like in Philly, they booed Santa Claus, and they cheered for Michael Irvin when he was getting stretchered off the field." Vic Fangio was like, "I don't care if we don't want to get booed, play better. Like they have a right to do that. You don't want to get booed, play better. You play bad, you're gonna get booed. That's just what it is. They pay your salaries, they show up. Like be happy that they're booing in a sense, because booing shows that you care. Be concerned when your fans, one, don't boo, but also don't show up, which a lot of Broncos fans haven't been. That's what you should be worried about."
I think this just proves my point that the Denver Broncos are no longer held to the standard that they used to be.
No, they're not. Definitely not.
Which is sad because I still hold them to that standard, and I think you do. I think where you work does. But unfortunately, because they've been so bad for so long, I, I think people have just kind of maybe not forgotten, but they've just gotten used to it. And so a win against a bad team is the greatest thing on the planet. And, it just, and that, when that happens, all of a sudden the team believes that. And, the expectations for the team turns into, oh, well, if we can make the playoffs. And at that point, you're the Browns. You're the Browns. So, I mean, look how excited people in Cleveland are for their team. That they are
We're happy to be here.
5-2.
It's the we're happy to be here mentality. That's what it is. Like that's kind of what it was.
When the Broncos were 5-2 with Peyton, people were upset. That they should be 6-0. They should be 7-0. They should finish the season 14-2, 13-3. That was expectations. And that's just because it's Peyton. When even that last year, Super Bowl 50. Expectations, just because Peyton had kind of fallen apart, that doesn't mean that we're okay with being an 8-win team. No. That wasn't our expectations. The expectation was to win a Super Bowl. I remember the year after they lost to Seattle. Or no. The year after they lost to Baltimore in the playoffs. It was, in my mind, and I think in a lot of people's minds, it was a 16-week preseason. That's what it was. That was expectations. That's how high expectations were. And even before Peyton got there. I remember boos. I remember fans booing Tim Tebow. But guess what? In the fourth quarter, he pulled it out. And did Tim Tebow come out and say, "Oh, screw the fans that booed"? No. Expectations were higher. Expectations were higher from the fans. Expectations were higher from the team. This team has fallen off dramatic. Like it is a drastic difference from what it is today to what it was even before Peyton got here. I mean, Jake Plummer got benched for a rookie when he had a winning record and was playing pretty well. That's how high expectations were for this team. It is no longer there. And it's because these fans, the Kool-Aid drinkers, the people that dress up in all orange on game days because they're just whatever, they're so excited to watch their team no matter how bad they are. That's on them. And it has translated to the team. Because now the team is, we haven't had a winning record in 5 years, that hey, if we can get to 500, we should be celebrated. That is where they're at right now, and that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
I would just like to ask all the fans who are like, you know what, just let them be there. They're trying hard and all that stuff, and be patient. Don't boo. You think Pat Bowlen would have cared if the fans booed, or do you think he would have even let it get to a point where they were booing like this? Do you even think he would have let it suffer like this through year after year of disappointment and all that?
No,
like
no. If Pat Bowlen, and look, I don't like saying this because he's gone, and but if Pat Bowlen was here, John Elway wouldn't be here.
I certainly
he would not. He would not be running the team.
I mean, he got rid of Mike Shanahan. Why wouldn't he have gotten rid of John Elway?
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm not gonna tell a fan how to fan. If you want to celebrate and be more optimistic than negative or realistic, however you want to call it, that's your choice. But at the end of the day, you should be able to hold your team to a standard, and a standard is met, or a standard is created when a team achieves lots of success, like the Broncos have done. They're 3-time Super Bowl champions. They've been to 8 or 9 Super Bowls total. They've won the division so many times. They've been to the playoffs so many times. So that standard has been put in place. And we're not far off from being in the point of we're just happy to be here. I mean, that's not the mentality you want. Now I get, and I think there should be realistic expectations set. Now, was this team going to go 13-3? No, I think when you have a team that doesn't have talent, you can be fair in your assessment and saying, I don't think they'll win a lot of games this year, but ultimately, we got to get back to the standard of winning games and playing for championships. And the Broncos just haven't been doing that. And fans are just okay with that, and they're accepting that. But the fans that are booing are showing that frustration of, hey, we are used to a standard here. We want you to live up to that. And as much as I love Philip Lindsay, the one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way this week was his comments on this situation. Him saying that, you know what, he kind of tried to toe the line and play both sides of, I understand why the fans are booing. There's been a standard set here of winning games.
Of all guys should know, he should know.
Right. And, he played that card of, I understand. But then he played the card of, but I think a lot of times fans are just jealous because we're out here and they're not, and they can't play the game like we can. And that to me is a dangerous line, Phil. Like when you play that card of you're just mad because you can't be out here and be me and play in the NFL, like that's a low blow, and two, it's just unnecessary. Like you don't have to go there. That's how you alienate fans. That's how you turn people away from you, your team, and your product. You don't do that. And it's not like everybody has a chance to play in the NFL. Like even great athletes, there's no guarantee that you're going to make it in the NFL. There's only a certain percentage of people in the country, in the world, that can play professional sports, and the NFL is not, a stranger to that. So for him to play that card, that really rubbed me the wrong way. With this whole booing situation, it was just a joke. And some places, some organizations support that narrative more than others. Like I can guarantee you the place I work, we don't support that because we're right there understanding the fans that are doing that. Other places, they're like pumping that up and like saying, yeah, fans, be patient and be happy. Don't boo. Well, I guess we should just wait until the game is completely done and then, oh, we lost, now let's boo. Or even then, they probably don't even want you to boo. So it's a joke. There's standards here. As long as your expression of frustration doesn't turn into harassment, or you're not putting a player or a coach or another fan in harm's way, listen, you have the right to do what you want to do. I mean, you're paying to be there. Season ticket holders are paying to be there. So if they want to boo because they don't like your product, then they can boo. That's just it. Would I boo? No, I'm not a booer. But, unless it's Mason Plumlee or Danny Sorensen, then yes, I will boo. Or the Chiefs, I will boo you. I don't like you, I will boo you. Other than that, no, I'm not a booer. But it was I just had to get that off my chest. I wanted to know your thoughts on it because it's been a thing this week. It was a hot topic earlier in the week. But
I didn't say anything on Twitter or anything because I just thought honestly, it's just sad. It's really sad how far this franchise has fallen. I've said it the last couple of years, but they're probably in the top 5 worst run NFL franchises in the league.
And a lot of Broncos fans don't get that. Like they don't understand that. They think the Browns, and they think like, oh, they suck, and we're not the Browns.
No, the Browns have been run better than the Broncos have over the last.
They're at least turning it around. But the Broncos are at the bottom where the Jets, the Browns. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm so sick of hearing the injury excuse for the Broncos.
Every team has injuries.
I'm so sick of it. And people bring up
San Francisco.
People bring up the money thing. That the bulk of that is Vaughn. And by the way, what did Vaughn do last year? Do you really think Vaughn would have helped the team in that much? Do you
Fair
really?
Argument to ask. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he would have impacted the team as much as, say, Bosa for the 49ers or, 3 other players for the 49ers. He was just another guy. He was not going to come in this year and have a 12 to 15 sack season. He just wasn't. So why and when you bring up the money, yeah, I believe they're second or third, but a lot of that is Vaughn. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, means nothing.
Well,
It
just look
it,
at the
it really
49ers. They
doesn't.
lost their two starting defensive ends. They lost Richard Sherman as well. They lost their quarterback, who continues to be plagued by the high ankle sprain. They've lost Mostert. They lost George Kittle. They've lost Debo Samuel. Like, that's a team that's reeling too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Broncos are the only team going through this
By
stuff.
the way, the
Injuries happen.
Broncos, yeah, they didn't have Drew Lock for a few weeks. But the only other guy that they haven't had is Sutton. And look, Sutton's the biggest injury loss for the Broncos. I get it. But at the same time, you just drafted back-to-back wide receivers, and you have two big tight ends, and you went out and got a running back who costs $8 million a year. Your offense should be fine.
They have weapons. There's no excuse. They're just a bad football team, but nobody wants to acknowledge that. Now, are they bad because they lack talent? No. Do the injuries play a role in their struggles? Yes. But also a lack of offseason, second-year quarterback, a new offense, a new OC. Like, these are all things that we
Yeah.
talked about and said. Like, when I went to my 3-13 pick, this is like things I ran through, and everybody was like, "Oh, like, where's the guy that said I was crazy for my take of them?"
Well,
being
to
a
be
bad
fair, they've
football
already
team?
won their 3 games. So
They have. Now, will they get past that? That's the question.
Well, and here's the thing too. As we get into this Falcons game, because I want to talk about expectations, because Drew Lock had a hell of a fourth quarter. He did. It was phenomenal. That last pass, that touchdown, that was an outstanding play by Drew Lock. And
Yeah.
credit to KJ Hamler for adjusting, because that play was supposed to go to KJ on the drag, or it was whatever route he ran, in the flat that he
Yeah,
was
this is
he was
flat
supposed
route.
to get
He
it.
was on that right side.
Yeah, he was
already.
on the right side already. So on that flat route, he was supposed to get it right away. And instead of forcing it, Drew Lock waited, acted like he was gonna run, and KJ adjusted, and it was a great play. So credit to the players, and I like the play call. That was a good play call, because it gave Drew options, right? Where you're rolling out to one side, but KJ's one option, your tight end in the back corner is another option, and then you have a receiver coming out from the weak side as well. So it was a good play call. I thought I thought Drew played great. I thought he made a great read on that. It was a great throw. KJ barely caught it. I think that was kind of a scary catch for KJ, because I feel like he could have easily dropped it. But now, okay, you did it in the fourth quarter. That's a flash quarter, right? We need to see it for a game. You
Oh, yeah.
cannot what are the expectations on Drew Lock? Because yeah,
Well,
he had a great fourth quarter, but I'm not doing this whole Tim Tebow thing.
I'll tell you right now, because we just ran through the numbers a little bit ago. The Falcons have the second worst pass defense and the worst total defense in the NFL. If Drew Lock does not come out and throw 280 to 300 and have at least 2 touchdowns, what? How do you not have success against this Falcons defense? How do you not? They're bad at defending the pass. Drew has tons of weapons. It should be a field day for the Broncos air attack. It should be an absolute field day. And if he has anything less than 250 and 2 touchdowns, I think it's a disappointing game. Now, obviously, context matters. How it happens matters. But I just think he should be in line for a big day. Whatever you think a big day is, that's what he should be in line for. For me, that's anywhere from 280 to 300, 2 to 3 touchdowns. I'll even spot him a pick. If he throws a pick, okay, fine, whatever. But I mean, if he turns it over multiple times, like he has been doing, oh man, like this is a team you can move the ball on, you can score on. We stated earlier, they're good against the rush. They're 9th against the running game in the NFL. The Broncos are a middle of the pack rushing team when it comes to total yards. But when it's yards per game, they're actually a little bit higher. I think they're like 12 or something like that. So, listen, if Phil plays, I think you can have some decent success running the football. But for me, I think Drew Lock needs to have a big game. Because if he doesn't have a big game against the Falcons, nah, then that's just one step closer to me just being completely off this train.
Yeah, I mean, we have still yet to see a flash game from him.
And Kevin makes a good point too, real quick. It's in Atlanta, so it's in a dome, so there's no elements.
No.
So,
One thing I will say though,
perfect weather.
one thing I will say, and I said this before the season, I told you, let's give Drew Lock in this offense 3 to 4 weeks to see what they can kind of start to figure out, right? Well, Drew Lock has now played, what is that now, three games? No. How many games has he played this season?
Played Tennessee. He missed Pittsburgh. What was the other game he missed? He missed the Jets, but then he played the Chiefs.
Oh, he played the Patriots. So he's played 4 games.
Yeah.
He's played 4 games, and it took the last quarter of that 4th game to figure things out. So at this point, the offense should be rolling.
At this point, they should be clicking, right? You would think at this point it should be a chance for them to have success, to win, or excuse me, play well against another bad football team. Like, there's no excuse this week. There should be absolutely no excuse for Drew Lock to have a bad game. I just don't see it. And for Pat Shurmur, it seems like he might be starting to figure things out a little bit with his weapons. Like, why we don't have Albert O and Noah Fant on the field a lot is baffling to me.
Yeah.
How we
those
can't get
two,
Jerry...
the Broncos could easily have a, I wouldn't say equal to it, but it's pretty. It could get pretty close to Gronk and Hernandez. Remember that duo at tight end? They have a hell of a duo at tight end right now.
Except both of their guys are 6'5" and plus.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron Hernandez.
Right, Aaron Hernandez was
6'2",
he was a small
maybe.
tight end. So
Gronk's like 6'7".
Right. So they have I'm so sick of hearing that Drew Lock doesn't have his weapons. I'm so sick of hearing about the injuries. Look, this offense, they have weapons. Jerry Jeudy, I get it. Him and Hamler are rookies, but Hamler just made a hell of a play. That was a heck of a play by Hamler. Like, I don't think, like, that is, I think, I don't know if people have really talked about that play by Hamler, because it was supposed to go to him right away, and he was supposed to make a play. He adjusted. That is something that rookie wide receivers don't necessarily do all the time. But he adjusted, and he made himself open. He shifted his body, and he read the defense, and he went to the left, right? And he adjusted, and he was watching Drew, and he got himself open. And that is something that a rookie wide receiver doesn't usually do. Jerry Jeudy has the route running that a rookie doesn't usually have. Albert O is a big tight end. Noah Fant is a good tight end. Tim Patrick is a big receiver that you have on the outside. So I'm sick of hearing that Drew Lock doesn't have weapons. He needs to go out there and do it. And he proved in the 4th quarter that he could play well with the weapons. So he needs to do it for a whole game.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
No, Pat Shurmur has to help him out a little bit, because Pat Shurmur has these lulls where it's just like, what are we doing? But I just don't know. Each week, I just get baffled at how we don't get easy touches for Jerry Jeudy. I just don't understand that. How do we not get the ball in this guy's hands? Whether it's a reverse or a bubble screen or a little drag route, a design screen for him in some way. I mean, it's always deep shots for Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I would say, though, that 4th quarter, they did a good job. The play calling, I thought, was excellent in the 4th quarter. I thought there was a lot of creative plays. That touchdown, that last touchdown, was a creative play. Because Drew had plenty of options. The Chargers played as well as they probably could have, and Drew bought enough time, and KJ made a great play. So, but I thought that play was, I thought the play calling was really good, at least in that 4th quarter. In the first half, I wouldn't even blame it on the play calling. Drew Lock was horrible in that first half. I mean, he was overthrowing guys. The ball wasn't even in the realm of where it needed to be.
Yeah, I think part of that too was the old line was they were getting pushed back in his face.
Sure, but I mean, that is, the throws were, even he had a couple throws where he had time, and he was airmailing it. So that that cannot happen. They had what, 4 rushing yards in the first half, and part of that is because they couldn't get a first down off of a pass because Drew Lock was completely inaccurate. That those are concerns. He had a great fourth quarter, but he needs to put it all together in a game. He hasn't done it since last year. It's been almost a year at this point. Like,
yeah.
he needs to have a complete game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Kemp says between the 20s, it should be Judy and Lindsay. Inside the 20s, Gordon, Fant, and Alberto. Yeah, and Tim Patrick I'll even throw there inside the 20s. And I don't know if Tim's going to play this week, but I mean, if you get him back, I mean, that's another weapon right there. So there's no reason that Drew Lock should have a bad game this week. Now, I have seen that the Falcons have been a little bit more aggressive since Dan Quinn's been
they're
fired.
blitzing a lot.
Yeah, because Dan Quinn, if you'll remember, I mean, he came from that Seattle system, so it's more of zone, keep everything in front of us, and come up and tackle.
Yeah, so I watched them play against Carolina the last Thursday night. I had that game on, and even before, I think if Teddy Bridgewater didn't get knocked out, I want to say that Carolina wins that game. But even then, they only had 17 points through 3 quarters. And Teddy Bridgewater was 15 of 23, 176 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. I believe that pick came at the very last drive when he came in. So, I mean, he wasn't really playing that well. Before that, he was sacked 3 times. So, I don't know. I think, here's the thing. A lot of people are they're kind of like, I guess, kind of pushing Atlanta to the side, like, this should be an easy win for Denver. But like I said, Atlanta has played well I would say the last 3 weeks. They've played really well. They blew out Minnesota, which, by the way, Minnesota just beat Green Bay. Like, Minnesota's
yes,
they're a good, they're a good team. It's just they lose in crazy ways this season. Like, that's just kind of how it's been for them. But going into the season, Minnesota was expected to be a good team. Atlanta blew them out, 40-23. They lost to the Lions, in which they should have won that game if Todd Gurley didn't make the mistake of Detroit let them score. Yeah, Detroit let them score, and Todd Gurley remembered at the 1 yard line, tried to fall, and just fell into the end zone.
About that is they had Matt Ryan was mic'd up for something, and he told them, "Hey, don't score here.
Right.
If we have don't score."
So
and Todd's like, "Okay, yeah."
Right. So if it wasn't for Todd Gurley, I don't know what he was doing, but
you call him Pinhead. He's like, "Wait, do I score? Oh no. Oh,
right."
no.
So but again, they held the Detroit team. Before that, it was at -8 points they held them to 15 points. And Detroit's offense is pretty good. Detroit's offense has been pretty good this season. So I'm not gonna say that this Atlanta team, this should be an easy win for Denver. I wouldn't be shocked if I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta blew them out. I really wouldn't. But I also wouldn't be shocked if Denver blew out Atlanta. So this is literally a 50-50 game.
Yeah, well, listen, there should never be any game considered easy for the Broncos. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. There's never any easy anything for the Broncos. So that's just something that should just be debunked right away.
Right. Well, and Kim just said that even if Atlanta is leading in the fourth, that the Broncos should have a chance.
That's where we want them. We're right where we have them.
I would agree with that, but Carolina had plenty of chances. Carolina did not score in the fourth quarter on Thursday night. So, and even they had a shot at the end. I mean, Bridgewater was back in the game. They had a shot at the end, and Atlanta, I believe that's when they got the pick. So they blew the Detroit game 2 weeks ago, but other than that, they've been better as far as not blowing leads. Remember, the Chargers have blown more leads at this point than Atlanta this season. It's been a while since Atlanta's blown a lead.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But let's pick this game and let's get to our picks as we wrap things up here. Denver, Atlanta, 11 a.m. Southeastern game. Where are you feeling on this one? Obviously, you mentioned that Atlanta's the favorite by 4. I just can't pick the Broncos. I just don't have faith in them. I'm gonna go Atlanta here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver won, but I'm gonna go Atlanta.
I think, man, the confidence from Denver is throwing me off. Because on one hand, I feel like the confidence could be a good thing, but it could also be like, oh, it's Atlanta. They're 2-6. 11 a.m. game. Traveling to the East. I think Atlanta has played much better the last 3 weeks. Is Denver better than Minnesota, Detroit, and Carolina?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if they are.
Man. This is, like I said, this is the toughest game on the schedule this week. At least to pick. I want to go with Denver so badly, just to go opposite of you. Man, it's so hard to pick Denver, man. It's so hard. It's.
You just don't know what you're gonna get.
I have a feeling that they're gonna play well. But here's the thing. Denver's defense, they've been good.
Mm-hmm. Been good against the pass.
They
forced turnovers in the last 3 straight games.
Right. But Atlanta, man. I'm gonna take Denver.
I think you'll end up being right. I think Denver will win this game. I just don't know if I can pick them. All right, Seattle versus Buffalo. This is an interesting game right here. Seattle can't stop anybody. I mentioned that Atlanta's like in some categories are like the last or second to last team. The other team that's there with them is Seattle.
Yeah. Atlanta's defense is better than Seattle's defense.
The Seattle is brutal to watch defensively,
Uh-huh.
but they also have Russell Wilson, and that cures a lot of problems. Hence why they are 6-1 with that bad of a defense.
By the way, this is the second toughest game to pick this week.
I just don't know if I can trust.
I'll take Seattle. I'll start this one. I'll take Seattle. I wouldn't be shocked if Buffalo won though.
No, but again,
but Buffalo's been very underwhelming these last couple weeks.
I'd rather go down swinging with Russell Wilson in a bad defense than choose Josh.
Well, and here's the thing: Buffalo's defense has not been very good these past, this season overall. Buffalo's defense has not been
as good as they were
very
last
good.
year.
Mm-mm.
This is another game I just absolutely hate. Chicago at Tennessee. I just hate everything about
this. This is your type of game.
I hate it. I absolutely. First off, I hate the Chicago Bears. I just hate everybody in the NFC. What is that? North. I don't like any of you. Okay, I don't like Green Bay for losing to Minnesota. I don't like Minnesota because of Kirk Cousins. I just don't like you, Kirk. Chicago, I know they're a bad team. I shouldn't say bad. I know that they're a mediocre team, but they're playing better than a mediocre team. It's because of that defense, which, shocker. It's not something like we're very used to out here. I just don't know if Chicago's offense is better than Tennessee's offense. And I trust Derrick Henry and Tannehill more than I do Foles and his cast of characters, because outside of Allen Robinson, who does he have out there in Chicago? I just think eventually that running game is going to wear on the Bears defense, and I'm going to trust Derrick Henry in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Tennessee, and it's mainly because they lost last week. They're a good team, and good teams and good teams when they lose, especially a game that they're not supposed to, they will come back the next week and they'll play really well. So I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Baltimore coming off that loss to Pittsburgh, they will take on the Indianapolis Colts, who got a win last week versus Detroit. Can you make any argument for Indy here? I don't think so. I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the Colts have played really well. They blew out Detroit 41-21. Yeah, they barely beat the Bengals. They lost to the Browns 32-23, but they beat the Bears. They crushed the Jets. They crushed the Vikings.
There's a lot of bad teams in there.
That is a lot of bad teams. You know what? Then
Listen,
I'm gonna stick
really
to
big games.
I'm gonna stick to what I said then for the Tennessee game. Baltimore lost a really close game that I feel like they probably think that they should have won that game.
I don't.
So I'm gonna go with Baltimore too. Good teams usually rebound. Good teams don't usually lose back to back.
Baltimore averages like 3 yards under 200 rushing yards a game. It's just insane how well they are at running the ball, or how good they run the ball. Next game, another one I absolutely despise: Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota's actually playing better, and this is the week that they would trap me and be like, "Yeah, pick us." Dalvin Cook ran for like 700 yards and had 300 yards receiving and 17 touchdowns last week. You should totally pick us. And I don't want to pick them.
Look,
then on the other hand,
there's not even a line.
Lions.
There's not even the line. There is nothing.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, because Vegas is probably, I don't know. I don't know.
They haven't put anything yet.
Yeah, because this is like, if this is the game, like your life is on the line, and they're like, all right, you get this game right, you live. Detroit, Minnesota. You're like, oh god, how am I supposed to choose this game?
Option C.
Yeah, I don't. I want to pick against Minnesota so bad because I said I would never pick them again. But this would be the week that they win. They are playing better. It's a division game. It's in Minnesota. Oh, and there's no Matt Stafford. I forgot that. There's no Matt Stafford.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Minnesota.
That makes me feel better.
I was gonna pick Detroit. Yeah. I'm glad you. Minnesota. I'm glad you said that. I was picking Detroit, and yeah, no.
I was gonna pick Detroit until I remembered that Matt Stafford's not there. That's the only reason I'm not picking that. And this will be the game now. Now that I say that, this will be the game that Minnesota loses. They'll get absolutely demolished, and Kirk Cousins will throw for like 113 yards and 4 picks. God, Kirk Cousins makes me angry. He makes me so mad.
Well, like I said, this week is brutal. This week is absolutely brutal for picks.
It's not good.
I wouldn't be shocked if we went like we got 2 right.
Oh yeah, you're going Minnesota though for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stafford out.
Giants, Washington, another weird game. Who's even starting at quarterback for Washington? It's not Alex Smith, is it? It's the other.
No,
guy.
it's the kid that was playing in Carolina last year.
Okay. No, it's not Brandon Allen. Kyle Allen.
Yeah, Kyle Allen. So. Yeah, Kyle
Allen. The Giants have actually been playing better. I mean, they could have beat Tampa the other night if, Daniel Jones knew how to throw it when a guy is open.
Look, the Giants could barely beat the Cowboys. I'm taking Washington.
They almost beat Tampa last week, though. Like they probably should have beat Tampa.
They should have beat. I'm still
literally Daniel Jones. If he didn't wait 17 years to throw the football to the guy in the flat, I think it was Deion Lewis.
I'm still taking Washington. Okay, 2 weeks ago these teams played, and the Giants won 20-19. I'm taking Washington.
Chase Young playing in this game. I like how on the injury report it says Giants football team.
Kyle Allen actually played really well. He was 31 of 42, 280 yards. Hey, that's a better game than Drew Lock has had all year. 31 of 42, 280, 2 touchdowns.
Do I trust Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones against Washington 2 weeks ago. I'm not gonna say anything. You can look it up yourself. Pick Washington or pick Giants. I dare you.
I
pick the Giants.
Do you want to pick?
I dare you. Pick the Giants.
Chase Young is playing this week.
Pick the Giants, I dare you.
Vision game. Let's circle back to that one.
No. Pick it now. Pick it now.
You're going Washington? Why are you so confident? I mean, Terry McLaurin is playing really well.
I
right now.
guarantee Washington wins.
You guarantee it. You want to put something on that? What do you want to put on that?
We can put something on it. I guarantee you Washington wins.
Why do you have so much confidence in the Washington? Do you know something that
I
don't?
no, I just have a gut feeling. I don't know. I really like Washington this week. That line, that -2.5, that is way too small. Little. I don't know.
I just don't know if I can trust Daniel Jones because like he plays bad one week and then he plays really good against Tampa. He turns the ball over so much. Like so much. I'm gonna go Washington.
Oh, come on.
Your confidence in Daniel Jones makes me very uncomfortable, and I don't like it. Houston versus Jacksonville. Houston is just wanting to blow things up. I don't know if you saw earlier in the week that Brandon Cooks, who's been traded like every year he's played, he's on the trade block, and so is Kyle Fuller or Will Fuller.
Yeah, Will
Kyle
Fuller.
Fuller's a cornerback. Will Fuller's also on the trade block. Jacksonville, is Gardner Minshew still their quarterback?
Yes.
Why do I think he was benched?
He might have. I have no idea. It's a mess in Jacksonville. I'm gonna take Houston.
Yeah, for some reason I feel like he was benched. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm gonna go Houston in that one as well. Las Vegas Raiders versus the Chargers. This will be an interesting game. The Raiders are actually a good, solid, above average team. I don't know if I'm gonna say good yet. I'm gonna go the Raiders here. I wouldn't be surprised though if the Chargers won. I mean, they have talent to win.
That's another tough one. What did the Raiders do last week? They beat the Browns 16-6. Yeah, I'll take the Raiders. I don't know how you can trust the Chargers at this point. The line is even.
Is it really?
Wow.
Pittsburgh, Dallas. Is there any I think Dallas is gonna get boat raced in this.
Oh yeah, no, Pittsburgh.
I don't think there's. I wonder what's the spread on that one.
Dallas might not win another game this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see.
Did you see people are saying that they should take Justin Fields?
I mean, yeah. I mean, everything should be in play for them.
They're gonna let Dak go.
I mean, if you're the Cowboys, I mean, you're a bad football team. Why would you?
Broncos, there's your Band-Aid. That's the one Band-Aid that would actually work.
Even with Dak, I mean, they weren't doing anything the past 2 years. So
that'd be like, that's not a Band-Aiding. That's like duct tape. Well, no, that's even better than duct tape.
like
What's
Flex
more?
Seal?
Yeah, There you go, Denver. There you go, Elway.
They even have different colors of Flex Seal. You can even go on clear. You don't even know it's there. It comes in different forms. You do the glue, you do the spray, tape. It's versatile. There you go. Boom. Miami versus Arizona. This is a weird game. I don't like it. Miami's defense is like #1 in the NFL. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Their defense is really good.
Their defense has been really good. That's why. Well, that's why I picked them last week, and I got that one right.
Okay, but they
beat the Rams.
Hey,
you picked the Rams. You picked the Rams. You were wrong.
Because they got a kick return touchdown. What else happened? I think a fumble for the Rams. Like it was the offense did nothing for the Dolphins. It was literally that defense. And special teams
I didn't pick them because I said Tua was gonna have a 300-yard game. I picked them because Miami's a good team. I'm picking Miami again.
Are you
picking them? Here's the thing with the Cardinals. Okay,
it's just that defense.
Because I really like the Cardinals, and they started out 2-0. They beat the 49ers and beat Washington. They've beat the Jets after their 2 losses against the Lions and Panthers. They beat the Jets. They beat the Cowboys. Okay, 2 of the worst teams in the league. They barely beat the Seahawks at home in a division game. It's a big game. This is a trap game. They've won 3 in a row. This is a trap game.
All right. You made a compelling argument. I will also take the Miami Dolphins. New Orleans versus Tampa Bay.
Why am I doing this? You were going to pick Arizona.
I was actually going to pick it. I was thinking, Tua struggled But seeing last night that I didn't know Miami had that good of a defense. Like it's literally
Yeah,
number one in
Miami's
total yards.
defense and their special teams is really good.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they
And
literally went
and
off
here's the
back
thing:
of that.
Arizona's defense is not good.
Hey, give Vance some credit. Come on. Let
They're not.
BJ,
They're
let
they're
BJ
not.
live a
They're
little bit.
they're
He's
not
playing,
good.
He's doing good.
They're not good.
They're playing well.
They're not bad, but they're
They're
not.
probably like middle of the pack.
Yeah.
New Orleans versus Tampa Bay. Antonio Brown plays this week. I just don't know. how New Orleans has a chance.
Yeah, I'll take Tampa Bay.
And Michael Thomas, I've been waiting for him to play for like 7 weeks now. Every
you-
week they say, "All right, Michael Thomas is back this week," and he
Do
just
you-
doesn't play.
Do you remember Antonio Brown's first game in New England? Do you watch that
Yeah,
game?
he had like 84
Yeah,
yards.
he went crazy. Yeah.
Against Miami.
Brady is gonna. Yeah, he's gonna. Antonio Brown is gonna have like 5 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown.
Setting up very nicely for a Chiefs Tampa Bay Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
So it
that's
seems
gonna.
like-
That would be fun. That's what I'm rooting for. That's
The
what I
old
want to
guard
see.
versus the new guard.
That's what I want to see. Although I think Pittsburgh could beat Kansas City. We didn't pick the
could.
Kansas City game, by the way.
Oh, I don't have it on here.
Yeah,
Do
they're-
we even need to pick it?
they're-
I mean, is Carolina going to beat Kansas City?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go. I had it marked on here actually. I pre-marked it for us because I was like, "There's no way anybody's beating Carolina here." So Kansas City, boom. You know, I didn't even have to ask you. I just knew. And we finished Monday Night Football. Oof. New England versus the New
oh
York
god,
Jets.
this is a horrible game.
Cam Newton.
You know what?
His
You know what?
career's probably on the line.
I will pick the Jets. The Jets get their first win of the season against the Patriots. That's how badly it has gotten for the. That's how bad it's gotten for the
I'm not
Patriots.
that confident. I'm gonna go. New
I'm
England.
taking the Jets.
I think they're at least talented enough to beat the Jets.
Yeah, but it's a division game in
No.
New York. The Jets aren't going to go 0-16.
Eh,
And look, Sam
That's
Darnold. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. People give
Is
Sam
he?
Darnold a lot of crap. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback.
see. That's going to do it for the picks. Right now, I'm currently sitting pretty at a 13-point lead.
You won't.
Inching closer.
You won't get to 20.
To that.
Oh, I picked all my Thursday night games. You want to know? Let's
'cause
see.
I don't even have those.
I
I don't even
picked.
have them filled out for those weeks.
I even picked the Thanksgiving games.
Just text them to me your screenshot.
Wait, how do you take a screenshot on an iPhone?
God, you noob.
I don't-
the top volume button and the lock button at the same time.
No, that does the power off.
You have to click them at the same time.
I did. Oh, do you,
well, you
don't
don't you?
I was holding them. You just
Yeah,
click them. Gotcha.
For those who don't know, Brandon finally switched to the good side. He switched to Team iPhone. He's Team Apple now. So we welcome him with open arms.
Yeah, I feel like an 80-year-old man trying to use.
Yeah,
technology.
you probably text with your index finger, don't you?
Oh wait, I was gonna send that to Aaron. Okay, I will send that to you.
Anyways, we thank you guys for tuning in today.
So my
We thank
Thursday
you for
night
being
picks
with
are
us.
in for the rest of the year. By the way,
Oh, that's good. you've only missed the last like 4. So I mean, I'll take the easy wins. I mean, that's fine with me. Layups are layups. I'll take them. So I'm not gonna Steph Curry this thing. I'm not gonna shoot from 3 when I can take the layup. So that's gonna do it for us today. We thank you guys for tuning in. NBA's back. Be happy. We're that much closer to seeing Jokic again. I can't wait for. I hope there's a day where I get to watch Philip Lindsay and Jokic on the same day. It's like my dream come true. I need like a combined Jokic Lindsay jersey.
that'll happen this year, most
It
likely.
will.
I
My
mean-
favorite number is 35, so I could make a half Lindsay, half Jokic jersey. 35. Len Jokic. Lenokic. Yeah, some Lindokic. I don't know. Dokic. I don't know. I'll think of it. But that would be cool. I would wear it. I totally wear it.
Yeah,
I would
Lokic.
say the
Lokic.
Nuggets. Lokic. The Nuggets on the front. Yeah, Lenokic, Dokic, Jokic. I don't know. We thank you guys for tuning in.
I like how you
We're way
said-
past the time.
You said Jokic.
Yeah. I'm taking the eye from Lindsay and just throwing it in Jokic. It syncs up very nicely. Do it for us, bro nuggets. That's a good one.
we thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Behind the Glass Sports podcast. For Brandon Stoll on the other side, I am Steven Priest Jr. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Jokic. Yeah, I haven't entered the weekly